There's something I've been thinking about recently that honestly, I don't believe people are truly open about. Not to be dramatic and not to sound philosophical, just because I truly believe that a lot of people right now are living lives that weren't really their own choice. They were shaped by outside expectations. And the scary part is that most people don't even realize it's happening. When you think about it, from a young age, you're handed a kind of invisible blueprint. Go to school, get good grades, choose the right friends, join the right clubs, fit in, go to work. Don't stand out too much. Care about the things you're supposed to care about. Listen to what's trending. Watch what everyone else is watching. Want what everyone else wants. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, somewhere between trying to keep up with everything and everyone, you stop asking yourself what you actually want. Now, I'm not here to say this is some kind of evil conspiracy. That's not what I mean at all. But I do think there's an important conversation that almost no one is talking about, that what it really means to live a life that's truly yours. Because the truth is that the world we live in has never been better at getting inside your mind. And I mean that seriously. The phone you carry with you every day knows more about how you feel than most of the people close to you. It knows when you're bored, when you feel lonely, what makes you feel insecure. And it's constantly serving you content that's been perfectly crafted to keep you scrolling, keep you comparing yourself to others, keep you wanting more, and above all, to keep you distracted from ever slowing down enough to figure out what you truly think. And if that sounds a bit intense, just notice how you feel after spending a few hours on your phone. Do you feel inspired, rested, more like yourself? Or does it feel like something's been quietly drained from you, even if you can't fully explain what it is? Before I go any further, let me give you a bit of context about who I am and why this even matters to me. I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a therapist. I'm just someone who went through a pretty long stretch of life where I felt completely disconnected from myself. On the surface, I was doing all the right things by every external measure. I looked fine from the outside. But on the inside, I had this quiet, persistent feeling that I was running someone else's race. Like I'd agreed to a set of terms and conditions I never actually read. And the reason I want to make videos like this one, talking about these kinds of things, is because I know I'm not the only one who's felt that way. And I think if more people were honest about it, we'd realize how widespread it actually is. So let me get back to the point, because I don't want this to just be a vague feeling. I want to actually explain what I mean. The version of you that the world is most comfortable with is the version of you that's easy to market to, easy to predict, easy to manage. A version of you with clear preferences, reliable habits, and just enough dissatisfaction to keep buying things and chasing things without ever feeling completely full. And to be clear, I'm not saying that the people from your life don't have good intentions. Your parents care about you. Your teachers likely did as well. Most people are simply repeating the same patterns they were taught. But the result is still the same by the time many people hit their 20s, 30s, or even later. They realize they've been moving through life on autopilot, making choices they never really questioned. What school to go to, who to surround yourself with, which relationships to pursue, which version of yourself to present depending on where you are at a party, in an interview, at a family table, which opinions feel safe, which dreams feel acceptable, and which ones you keep to yourself. And the real cost isn't that your life looks wrong from the outside. It's that you slowly lose touch with your own voice. The more you let trends, expectations, and validation define you, the more your own perspective fades. Until one day you're making major decisions based on how they'll be perceived, on what seems right on paper, on the fear of falling behind, not on what you truly want. And that's what this is really about. They wanted your soul, your attention, your presence, your identity. That's the most valuable thing you have. And the way modern life is designed, it's constantly pulling that away from you, bit by bit, in exchange for distraction and the feeling that you belong somewhere. So the real question is, what do you do next? Well, I'm not going to sit here here and pretend I have a perfect answer. I don't. But what I do know is that the starting point is something most people are terrified of, and that's boredom, stillness, being alone with your own thoughts without anything to numb it. Because when you actually sit in silence, when you stop filling every quiet moment with noise, something interesting happens. You start to hear the difference between what you actually want and what you've been conditioned to want. You start to notice the things that genuinely light you up versus the things you only care about because everyone around you seems to care about them. And that gap, that difference, is where you actually find yourself. I know that sounds almost embarrassingly simple, but I think the simplest things are usually the ones we avoid the hardest, because sitting still and listening to yourself means you might not like what you hear. It means you might realize you've been on the wrong path. It means change, and change is uncomfortable, but the alternative is continuing to live inside a life that was built around making other people comfortable. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like living to me. So that's pretty much what I want this channel to be. Just honest conversations about what it's like to try and be a real person in a world that would rather you weren't. About the moments where I've caught myself living on autopilot and what it took to actually wake up. If that's the kind of thing you want to hear more of, if any part of this hit home, then just stick around. I'm going to keep making stuff like this, and I genuinely love to know in the comments whether any of this landed for you. Because like I said, I don't think I'm the only one who's felt this way. And the more people talk about it, the harder it is to pretend it isn't real. Alright, that's everything for this one. See you in the next video. I'm still grinding at the pyramid.